I'm Caden, here with my brother,
Cal,
and you're listening to Eating W's.
eat the W.
That's a W. Let's eat one. Let's eat one. That's a W.
So, on today's episode of Eating W's, it is officially the start of the 2021 NFL playoffs. So, here we go.
Wildcard weekend. Here we are.
It's been a long time coming. First 18-week season, but here we are.
Seems like
We
just
made
last week was week one. I don't know.
For real, it flew by.
So
Insane.
sad that football season always goes by so quick because it's so much fun.
As I say, because
Every
in the
week
off
is
season,
so much fun.
the off season drags on. You got the draft, and then you got to wait like 4 months to see anything. It sucks, but the playoffs are always exciting, so
Yep.
it's worth it. So before we jump into our predictions for Wildcard weekend, I'll start off by giving the final regular season score for Cal and I's head-to-head pick'em game. So I'll just say it now. I totally choked it away. Last week, I only dropped 7, putting me at a total of 153, and Callan clutched up and dropped 13, putting
It's
him at a
not so
total
much that you choke.
of
It's that
158.
I'm clutch, and so week 17 and 18, I just kicked ass and got a bunch of points.
That's definitely what happened. You dropped double-digit points 2 weeks in a row, 1 week having 13. There's just not much I can do
Including
about
picking
that.
Detroit. My one upset against the Packers.
Yeah, Callan picked Detroit as an upset, and I didn't know it, but in Vegas it was a pick'em game, so a little
At
questionable.
the time
there,
that we
but
made the picks, it wasn't even on the books yet.
Yeah,
Nobody
you-
knew who was going to play.
you won by much more than the 1 or 2.
But
point
luckily,
swing it
yes,
would've
I
been,
still
so.
won by a wider margin, so we don't have to challenge that.
So Callan is officially the regular season
Regular
champion.
season champ.
But we're going to keep continuing on with these scores throughout the playoffs. And each week, each game will be worth a little more. Starting with Wildcard Weekend, each game will be worth 2 points. So we won't have any upsets or locks, but each game will be worth 2 points. So we'll see if I can come back and re-clutch or double clutch. I don't know how it'd be said. If I can clutch up, we'll go with that.
Yeah,
So,
you have to counter clutch.
counter clutch. There
There
you
you
go.
go.
That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. So we'll jump straight into our predictions. Now, as we mentioned last episode, the Packers got the 1 seed and the Titans got the 1 seed, so neither of them will be playing this weekend. So we'll start with the NFC again and the matchup between the 2 seed Bucks and the 7 seed Eagles, with the Eagles going to Tampa Bay. And Cal and I both have the Eagles for this one.
Mm-hmm.
We both have a 7 beating a 2, which I thought was kind of crazy to see, but we touched on it a little bit last episode, but this is a surprisingly good Eagles team and a very beat up Bucks team. So it's
Not
got
just beat
upset
up,
rating
but
all over it.
dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, with the whole Antonio Brown thing, and who knows what's going on with that. And then I liked how they forced all their guys to get their incentives. Did you notice that?
Yeah, in
Gronk
week
got his
18,
incentive.
yeah.
Evans got his incentive. You know, I think Brady got some incentives. And it's like, oh, what a coincidence that you just
They-
forced all those incentives.
They had to
after-
make sure to show that Brown was lying.
Yeah. So
Or maybe cover their ass.
I
if
don't know.
Brown
yeah,
was telling the
And
truth.
I think
but-
that's more what it is. That they were like, shit, that's gonna look bad on us.
Yeah.
But I talked about this a little bit last episode. Philly has Brady's number. Somehow, for whatever reason, the Eagles know how to beat the Bradys. And that's just my basis for picking this game.
Yeah. I know I said this about Week 18 about the Cowboys-Eagles game, but I by no means see this being a blowout. I think no matter who wins, it's going to be a super close game. But
And that too, because the Eagles got blown out, I don't see them.
Yeah, they're gonna
you
be
know,
pissed, yeah.
Not very likely, or not very often do teams get blown out consecutively. Nor do they even look bad consecutively. A lot of times, even if they lose, it's a close game.
Yep. You never really saw a 6 beating a 3 much, or however it used to be, and you didn't see a 7 beat a
6.
2 last year, but
Six over
6
three.
beat a 3, yeah. So maybe we'll finally see one with this new playoff scheme. Next up in the NFC, we got the the San Francisco 49ers heading to Dallas to take on the Cowboys, and we split on this one. I picked the Cowboys, and Callan picked the Niners. Now, I'm just going to say it now. As long as the Cowboys keep winning, I'm pretty much taking the Cowboys to at least the NFC Championship game, if not maybe the Super Bowl. I agree with Callan that McCarthy does not coach very well, and that team is going on talent. But one thing that is going to benefit McCarthy at this point is he does have experience in the playoffs, and he has experience winning in the playoffs and even winning in the biggest game of them all, the Super Bowl. So that'll benefit him. It's a very talented team. It's a team that doesn't have much playoff experience, so that makes me a tad nervous, but I don't think that's a huge thing because, I mean, everyone's got to get playoff experience somehow, and they've got to win somehow. So I have been kind of anti-Niners all year, and I see the Cowboys beating them in this first round.
And I like San Francisco because of the experience. You got Jimmy G, who's led the San Francisco to the Super Bowl. You got Shanahan, who's not only Super Bowl head coach, but Super Bowl coordinator. So he knows how to get there in multiple ways. And, yeah, I don't... So... Dallas's run defense is not very good, and San Francisco runs the ball a lot. Elijah Mitchell, and I know they have other guys. They run Samuel.
They got a revolving door of injuries more than anything.
Right. So, but I know Eli Mitchell though has really taken the reins, and Debo obviously is a fantastic gadget piece. I've never seen a gadget piece be your lead man, but they found a way to make it work.
Yeah.
Plus Kittle, I mean, we all know what Kittle can do.
Yeah. And
it looks like Jimmy G is going to be ready and good for the playoffs at least. And we all know how great Jimmy G is, depending on which announcer you ask. So
freaking Jimmy G, man. I cannot wait to watch them lose in the first round. It's going to be so happy. Random little tidbit. You know Elijah Mitchell's a rookie?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I just
learned
that for the first time.
Really? Oh, yeah.
Like a week or two
ago.
Yeah,
he wasn't really supposed to play but he is because of all those injuries.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. I like to see stuff like that. So, next up, and finally for the NFC part of it, we got the Cardinals heading to Los Angeles to take on the Rams in a divisional matchup, technically. And again, we are split. I have the Cardinals in this one, and Callan has the Rams.
Mm-hmm. So I actually think it'll be more highly upset wild card weekend, and this is going to be one of the few divisional winners that win. DeAndre Hopkins is still out. Arizona hasn't looked that great these last few weeks. Matthew Stafford has really only been the worst part of the Rams these past few weeks.
It's quite ironic.
And I feel like he's just going to snap out of that, though. I mean, it seems like he's stuck in Detroit still. He's trying way too hard, and he doesn't have to do that anymore. Someone's got to tell him he can let the team win. They're not going to fuck it up.
My favorite saying this season: you can take Stafford out of Detroit, but you can't take Detroit out of Stafford.
And it's true. They've scarred him. He thinks he has to give 199% every goddamn play, and so he's trying to force all these passes, and he doesn't need to. He's just used to it.
He has talent for the first time.
Yeah. So I think that, yes, that talent and Stafford will snap out of it. Being in L.A., not in Arizona, I just think the Rams will be one of the favorites that win.
Yeah. Now, I'm a little bit taking a page out of your book where you said it earlier this year, in the NFC West, whichever team you think is going to win the game, pick the other one. And I kind of think the Rams are going to win overall, but I mean, there's a lot of reasons I'm picking the Cardinals.
That was a main basis of me beating you in our pick'em, because I picked both San Francisco and Seattle on that basis of me picking them.
That's a little bit true. That's not fully a joke what I just said, but I also think there's a lot of reasons the Cardinals are going to win. One being Stafford. You want to talk about low playoff experience? Right. That poor guy. Had barely even touched the playoffs.
As I just talked about how Stafford is going to be the reason they win, he could just as equally be the reason that they lose.
Absolutely get destroyed. And the Cardinals, they've been really injury beat up. Towards the end of the season, they had a lot of injury troubles. So I think those guys are finally really getting back into the groove of things. They're not going to be as injured. You know if D-Hop is playing?
I don't think so.
I don't think he is, but I'm not sure about that. And if he is, he'll probably come off an injury and be a little slow.
He won't be 100%.
But I think Kyler will be back into full swing. They lost to the Seahawks last week, which is just kind of a stain on your reputation. So they really are going to want to change that. They're going to want to go and pick up a big win on a big stage. And just one of my feelings. I like the Cardinals in this one. My
You know-
feelings almost always guide me wrong, but
On a bit of a diverted note, if a bunch of the teams that had bad seasons played like they played in Week 18, it'd be a whole
this
different
whole playoff
season.
picture would be.
But I know it's a little bit of diversion, but it is kind of funny because both Seattle looked like the Seattle they thought they should be all season.
Exactly,
And,
yeah.
There's a number of teams that played lights out. They were like, "The hell did that come from? Where has that been?"
It's been
and Seattle was
Vikings
one
being
of them.
one of them.
Yeah,
Oh God, don't even.
yeah. So
Don't get me started.
Yep. We digress.
But moving on to the AFC part of the bracket now, and starting with the 2-seed Chiefs hosting the 7-seed Steelers. And again, Cal and I are split. I have the Chiefs in this one, and Callan is rolling with the Big Ben Jerome Bettis comparison and taking the Steelers.
The same. It's almost eerily similar. The only thing that isn't is that the Super Bowl was in Detroit, which was Jerome Bettis' hometown. This Super Bowl is in Los Angeles, which is not Roethlisberger's hometown.
Oh, he's from somewhere in Ohio.
Yeah, he's in Ohio. He's from Ohio somewhere. But I still think that whole magical run that they had with Bettis way back then, with a young Ben Roethlisberger, will now repeat itself with a young Najee Harris at running back.
Flip the script.
Flip the script. So I'm going on a bit of a limb here, and gonna say that Pittsburgh is gonna have the upset of the week and surprise the bad team that is the Chiefs.
You have both sevens beating two.
It's upset wild card weekend.
Yeah, just
that's what I'm
noticing
calling
that
it.
That's funny, but I have the Chiefs in this one because the last time they faced, man, they just absolutely.
I did forget about that game until
they
you had
just
mentioned it earlier today.
Apart the Steelers when
but
they
they
played earlier this
totally
season.
kicked the shit out of the Steelers.
Absolutely destroyed them. And I like your logic. I think it'll be a much closer game. I could see Ben Roethlisberger actually going out there and having a pretty decent game, but I just don't think they're going to be able to stack up. I think the Chiefs are going to be way too much. It's in Kansas City. The Chiefs have had an on and off season. They're going to want to prove that they're still Super Bowl contenders. I feel bad for the Steelers that was the first matchup they got because I just don't see much happening.
That's what happens when you just sneak in.
If
being
they
the third team in a two-person football game.
If the Chiefs have the 1 and the Titans have the 2, I might be picking the Steelers here as an upset, but I just don't think they'll be able to beat the Chiefs. So next up, we have the AFC side divisional matchup. We have the 6-seed New England Patriots heading to Buffalo to take on the 3-seed Buffalo Bills in another split. I have the Bills in this one, and Callan has the Patriots.
Well, I mean, Belichick went into Buffalo just a few weeks ago and beat the Bills with just a running back. So,
Really?
I mean, what's to say he won't go do that again? I just, until they can prove that they can beat Belichick, I will keep betting on Belichick, Plus, like I said, I think it was last episode, if the Bills lose this, they're probably going to fire McDermott because the Bills had Super Bowl aspirations, and right now they're regressing. Going from an AFC title game to a possible wild card elimination, that's regression.
Well,
And
we'll see if it actually
I
happens.
don't think he'll like
Doesn't
it.
happen.
Right, if it happens. So that's why not that I think that it will happen because of that, but it's just, when you talk about it and you realize it, it's like, oh yeah, it's kind of a big deal to keep losing to Belichick when this was supposed to be your time to
When they're
take
supposed to
over
be their season.
Yeah.
It is terrifying seeing Belichick in the playoffs. It is absolutely piss your pants terrifying to go against Belichick in the playoffs. But then you look at Mac Jones and you see that rookie quarterback in the
Who?
playoffs.
Mac Jones.
I know. I still don't get it.
I know, but it's
But you
fine.
see that rookie quarterback in the playoffs. The Bills have way too stacked of a roster. If you look
They
at
should. They
if you
really
look at
should.
these teams on paper and with it in being Buffalo, you would take Bills by 100. But no,
that's what
Belichick is the X
does,
factor
is
there.
that
Yep.
He actually nullifies your team's best player. He recognized that the Bills' best player was a rookie quarterback, Mac Jones, and nullified his own player. He nullified his own player for the benefit of the team. That's just cerebral. That's insane. He's a mad scientist, and it's so amazing to watch as a football student.
Did he eliminate him or not trust him?
I say nullified, not eliminated. He nullified.
That's for you to decide. We'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll see in this week. If he does it again, then we'll know he was trying to get rid of him.
There's just no way he does it again. There's just no way. But finally, for our final matchup of the Wild Card weekend, we have probably my favorite matchup in the Wild Card weekend, if we're dead honest. The 5-seed Las Vegas Raiders heading to Cincinnati to take on the 4-seed Bengals. And Cal and I finally agree again. We both have the Bengals picking up a win in this one. It's been a Cinderella run. It's been a Beyonce Cinderella run for the Raiders, but it's got to come to an end.
I don't remember all this shit happening in Cinderella.
Yeah,
I mean, this is like a Pulp Fiction run? I don't know.
Pulp Fiction run, that's a good one.
Yeah, like,
it's a very twisted Cinderella run.
Yeah,
but there's
Twisted
no
Sister
way.
Cinderella.
The Bengals have been on such a tear recently. That offense has been nearly unstoppable, and that defense has been holding some pretty good offenses to at least relatively low amount of points for today's NFL. If the Raiders pick up a win here, man,
I still think the Raiders are trying to lose, and they just keep accidentally winning.
At this point, if the Raiders pick up a win, I'm sending them to the Super Bowl pretty much, because it's just clearly it's written in the stars at that point.
I've never seen any team go through so much controversy in one season and still succeed. I mean, we said last time, they're the first team to fire their coach mid-season and then make the playoffs after firing him.
5-seed, man.
Yeah, and they're the 5-seed. Not even like they snuck in.
If it wasn't for them being in the same division as the Chiefs, they probably are top 4 seed.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. And here's also what's interesting. Both 5-4 seeds in each division's playoffs are the 2 most exciting games.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'd agree. So, those were our predictions for the NFL Wildcard weekend. Of course, our prediction episodes and most likely recap episodes will be much shorter than they usually are heading into the playoffs.
Not as many games to talk about now.
But we hope you guys still watching. We hope you guys continue watching and still enjoy watching.
We'll actually be able to talk more about the games, get a little more in depth.
Yeah, we'll try to talk about the games a little more. So, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, don't forget
to eat the W.